Hello, and welcome back to the Spa Business Mastery podcast. I am really glad that you're here. Today is the November business numerology forecast. So, you're likely here to hear about what's coming down the pipe in terms of energetics for your business, for you as a leader, for what clients and consumers are going to be experiencing this month. And so, this is all about sharing what the universal energy is for everybody, and so that you can use that information to, use it in your business to strategize, use it in your mindset to help you focus on what the high energies are of the month. And when we do this, when we blend in the what we understand about numerology and the energetics of numbers, and we layer that over top of our business strategy, that gives us like a bit of a secret, quiet advantage over our competitors. Because yes, we are dealing with the practical, tactical aspects of life and the services that you offer and the marketing that you're doing and the clients that you're talking to on the regular. But we are also taking into consideration the energy of the month that everybody's going to be feeling. And you can then weave in some of this information into some of your conversations with your clients. You can weave it into your marketing. You can weave it into your admin days to make life a lot easier, for work to go a lot quicker, and just less stuckness. So that's how you use these business numerology forecasts for yourself in your business. And of course, you know, our business is like, we are our business. It's not like we're a big corporation. We are small business owners. And so whatever is going on with us and our energetics, of course, that is completely going to be showing up in our business. So let's dive into what's coming down the pipe for November, shall we? All right. Well, first, we also have to talk about October. I always like to do a little bit of a debrief because it really does help us to understand what just happened, and allow us to look at things rather than look at things from a perspective that they're happening for us rather than they're happening to us, which, that's shifting in from a like a scarcity mindset or a victim mindset and moving us more into a more empowered mindset, so that we feel like we can take empowered action. So October 2024 was a nine energy month. And the nine energy is all about, it's the end of a cycle, it's cycle completion. And so think about it, when you finished something, there is a higher wisdom. You've learned a few things in this past cycle. And so this month, we do have that energy to tap into of our own higher wisdom. That's like it was super ripe for us to access as the universal energy of the month. And just in case you haven't been following me, and this is maybe the first time that you have heard about like energy of the month, like how do I get to that number? Essentially, in numerology, when we find an energy of the month, we're adding up the month. So October was a 10th month. And then we add up the 1 plus the 2 plus the 2 plus the 4 for 2024. And that's how we get the universal energetics. Now, the interesting thing about it being a nine energy for the month of October is that it was a little peekaboo window into what might be coming down the pipe for 2025, because 2025, January 1st, we shift into a nine energy year. So we're currently in an eight energy year, which is all about like, really, the eight energy is, when it comes to business, is like your inner CEO. So you probably have found this year that there's been this drive to like just want to do better, and or thinking there must be a better way, there must be a more efficient way. So the eight energy is very much about efficiency, it's subject matter expertise, it's leadership, mentorship energy. And so, this year, many of us are really feeling called to, step into that inner CEO, to do better in our business, to be more responsible in our business. Because we know when we step into that energy and actually take the practical, actionable steps into it, our business does do better, right? So for this 2020 year, it's going to be wrapping up in a couple of months. And so we still are in this massive energy of the eight. The eight is like depth and devotion. And so with the nine energy month and the eight energy year, it was really asking us to step up and again into our CEO self and look at all the places that we need to clear up loose ends, let go of things, let go of people, have a higher perspective of it, look at your situation with wisdom rather than criticism and judgment. And, it was also, this nine energy in October was also about forgiveness. So, we can't move forward on things. We can't move forward on the next part of our cycle, our business cycle, our personal cycles, if we're stuck in, criticism and judgment and not kind of moving into forgiveness with it. And that could be, maybe you had some stuff go on with people this month and you're still kind of holding some resentment to it. Part of the nine energy was asking us for forgiveness so we could complete that kind of feeling, we could grow from it and learn from it and just move on. I know that I had a couple of situations. One of them was professional that I was a little bit flabbergasted at, to be perfectly honest, of another, it would be a peer of mine that I met. And I was like, wow, okay, so I knew I would see the low vibration of nine energy show up in October. I wasn't expecting it to see it that way. And that low nine is the lack of integrity, not leading by example. And I saw that. So I'm really curious if what you ended up seeing in your October nine energy month about letting go and, having higher integrity, having that higher wisdom. What showed up for you in your business? Was it about people? Was it about things? Was it about letting go of belief systems and ways that you're thinking? Because October was really just asking us to get prepared for November and for this next manifestation cycle. So, what did November prepare for you? Were you fighting a little bit, or have you been following numerology and following my forecast? Were you able to identify those places where you're like, aha, I think this is a nine energy thing going on, and I'm going to react differently to it. Now, as we move into November, November is a one energy month, and I'm a little partial to one energy and 10 energy because I'm a ruling number 10. And so the one energy is all about fresh starts, new beginnings. It's the number of innovation. Um, it's planting a seed. Uh, Evolution, it's a wish upon a star kind of energy. So it's that daydreamy kind of energy. I remember as a kid that I daydreamed all the time. Now, granted, yeah, I was from the 80s. I was an 80s and 90s kid, or an 80s teenager and a 90s in my 20s. And so this was kind of pre having a cell phone on you at all times. And when I look back at as a child and as a teenager and even in my 20s, I spent a lot of time daydreaming. And now that I know about numerology and I know more about my code as a ruling number 10, I realize that's just part of my code and who I am. And so, yeah, gosh, I could just sit in the living room and just kind of soften my eyes and look at the ceiling. And, I'd be looking at the texture of the ceiling, but my mind would be wandering. I would do the same thing, looking at clouds, just looking at the different shapes and forms, and my imagination would just take a trip. And so, what I've understood about myself, and one of my key gifts that I have is that innovation that comes from that one energy of my code. I can just see opportunities. I can see them really well for other people. I see them pretty good for myself too. Um, and so that's what makes me really good at being a business coach for the beauty industry and the wellness industries, because I can see the opportunities in other people's businesses that they can't see for themselves. you guys all have your own codes and your own gifts in those codes. And so, you may not be able to see like the innovation piece, like where are all the opportunities in my business that I am not seeing? So, yeah, it's that wish upon a star energy. It's also kind of that blowing out a birthday cake kind of energy, that celebrate you energy. Remember when you were little and you're kind of in front of your birthday cake and you saw all the candles, and there was just this kind of feeling, this momentary feeling of all the possibilities that are coming with this birthday. So that's the kind of feeling that this one energy has. So it likely will feel moving into November from sometimes that can feel a little heavy in the energy of the nine. There's likely going to feel this sense of pressure letting off and, okay, what's next? A couple of other key features of the one energy is definitely leadership. And if you've heard me talking about any of these numbers before, the odd numbers tend to be more action taking, forward motion, activating kind of energies, whereas the odd numbers aren't quite as activating. Um, I would say the odd numbers are just like they're almost more physically activating, like it's about taking action and moving forward. For the one, the three energy is like tons of creative capacity. The five is about freedom. The seven is about deep faith and trust. The nine is about letting go. They're all action types of energies. Now let's talk about the low vibration of the one because you're going to want to figure out how to identify the low vibration because it sounds all like sunshine and rainbows for this one high energy, and it doesn't show up like that all the time. So the low vibration of the one is definitely difficulty finishing things. And I can tell you from experience, I have a couple of ones in my chart and I'm a ruling number 10, and I do find it difficult to finish projects. That's not to say that I don't and I can't. I just know that I have to shore up my systems and my support in order for me to finish projects. Um, you know, we all have those aspects of our code, and there's aspects of every number that's a low vibration. And it doesn't mean we stay stuck there. It just means that we are able to identify it and find solutions for it. So difficulty finishing might be one of those pieces that you find tough in November. Maybe you're working on a current project and it just seems to stall out. It's that feeling stuck piece is that low vibration of one. And you may have heard me talking about this story before, but it's worth repeating again. But last February 2024, we were also in a one energy month, and I was working on a new email opt-in and I was getting stuck on the technology. The tech was just not working with me and not doing what I was expecting it to. And I spent probably like 2 months trying to really figure out this tech. I paid for consultants to work with them to help me figure some things out and get, some Zapiers going, some Zaps going. But at the end of it, beginning of February hit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this project is taking freaking forever. And the tech is making me nuts. And the company was like, oh, it's not our fault. It's the other tech companies. Like they were just pointing fingers. I was stuck and feeling super frustrated. And so I realized in that first week of February, I'm like, wait a minute here. We're in a one energy month. Let me look at the low vibration of the month. And sure enough, getting stuck is a low vibration of one. I'm like, okay, let's just get unstuck. How do I get unstuck? And usually it means simplifying. Like, how can I do this more simply? Or how can I do this more efficiently? Or how can I do this more easily? Those are the questions that you want to ask when you are feeling that stuck feeling. And so what I realized is that I just have to ditch the technology that I was hoping would work because it would be super slick for the consumer to experience. But the reality of it is it was holding me back and I needed a way forward. a lot more quickly. So I simplified the tech, and it wasn't exactly how I really wanted it, but it was good enough, and it got the information out, and I could, finish up the project and be done and dusted and move on to the other things that I was working on. So don't be surprised if you are feeling stuck and it's just like no matter what you do, it's just not budging. And so the question there is like, I need to do this differently. How can I do this differently? Let's not keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It is just not going to work. So, what tools do I need? What resources do I need to make this more simple on myself? What process do I need? Maybe I just need to talk to somebody, an esty bestie or a business buddy to like talk it out for half an hour and then I can figure it out. Um, Another low vibration of the one energy is looking for validation from others. Now, I know that most of us in the beauty and wellness business space have not, we didn't get into this because we had a degree in business. We didn't have a degree in economics. Like we rose to the occasion because we were passionate about what we know and what we can do and how we can serve. And so it's really easy for us because we didn't have that designation of like, business degree. It's really easy for us to feel like we don't know enough and to look for validation from others. Now, there's definitely places where you need support. So that if that is like with coaching or like you need a consultant to come into your business to help you work things out, absolutely. But what I'm talking about is, having more faith in yourself in realizing that it's figure outable and having more faith in yourself for and with your ideas that you want to bring forth. So, the month of November, don't be surprised if you're like, I got this idea and I got that idea and I got that idea. And we all know that a lot of people in our life don't get what we do. And so, sometimes when we're talking about our business, even with family members or friends, people that aren't in the business, sometimes their reaction can make us feel like we're not being validated. And it's not really intentional. They don't understand how the business works. So they actually can't give any kind of functional feedback for us. But this is where it gets tricky because a lot of times we're just kind of talking and sharing about what we're doing, an idea that we've got, and we may be met with like, a bit of flatness, like, oh, interesting, and no more questions. Or they may be asking you questions that aren't really like, it doesn't really matter. Those questions don't matter. And so that can be fairly frustrating and it can feel like they don't approve of what we're doing, or, even if they don't even have to say it. There could just be a feeling that we pick up that we're not feeling validated and that undermines our intuition and what we know about our business and where we want to take our business. So watch for that piece of needing validation from others, or even when we're talking about our business and we're not really getting the positive feedback we were expecting. Recognize that as maybe the old you would look at that non-validation and think, oh, maybe that's a bad idea, or maybe I'm not onto something. Drop into yourself, tap into your intuition, into your heart, and what you really, really know, and go with that, so that you're not unconsciously and unintentionally kneecapping yourself and kind of thinking, oh, I don't know if I can really do this. Another low vibration of the one is abandonment worries. So, as a, if you are a ruling number 10, our abandonment issues can be sometimes a little much, and we can get in our heads about, oh, maybe our clients, if we haven't seen a client come back for a while, we could start making stories up in terms of like, ooh, maybe I said something or did something. No, 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 no. It's just that's part of our our leadership that's just feeling a little tender and vulnerable. It's not necessarily true. It's just that as the one energy tends to worry about that piece. Another piece of that one energy on the low vibration is obsessing about past decisions. So, how about we all agree that our business is just a big science experiment and whatever worked and whatever didn't work, it's all good. Either way, we have learned from those situations. All right, let's get into what the one energy would look like in the high vibration in your business and what it might look like in the low vibration. So, first up, you may feel this surge, like I was saying, the surge of enthusiasm to start new concepts, new services, to bring on new products, start a new marketing campaign, maybe have an event. The good idea fairy is going to show up this month. And sometimes she is a pain because there might be too many ideas going on for you. But it will be a time to my kid is texting me and it's his day off and I just make sure my notifications are off there. But it's definitely going to feel like you got lots of ideas. If you are ruling number three, that's if you add up your birthday digits and then reduce it and it comes to three. Three energy tends to have tons and tons of ideas and get super overwhelmed. So just watch for getting overwhelmed with that. But you should feel like inspired to take action. The second piece that you'll notice in the high vibration of November is that innovation and curiosity energy. So just that creative exploration, um, you had the idea of something, and now it's that creative part of like going down the rabbit hole and seeing where it could lead, whether it's a brand new service or maybe it's an existing one that you want to pull apart and put back together again in a way that gives better outcomes and is more fun for you and the team to provide. So, what are those? What are one of the questions that I want you to ask yourself this month is, what are you wanting to do that others don't see the opportunity for? So, and I'm talking about your competition. And I am one of those people that competition isn't really competition. There's room enough for all of us, but there is such a thing as, getting your market positioning right so that you stand out in, what could be a very crowded market in your area. So that innovation and curiosity is likely going to start prompting questions like, I wonder, I wonder if I could do this a little differently. I wonder if I did it like that. So pay attention for those I wonder things coming up. And on the heels of that is if you've been wondering and having ideas for something new, what would be holding you back this month? Is it just a lack of confidence? Is it not knowing the right steps? Is it lack of money to be able to implement it? What it will be holding you back from that creative spark? The third thing that you're going to be noticing is just this general kind of feeling like you're a little bit more confident in your leadership. So whether that's setting boundaries or refining your business goals or, helping to foster those team dynamics, you're going to feel a little bit extra like, oh, I can do this. All right. So this will feel a little bit different than the times where in your leadership, you feel like you should be doing. This is more about just feeling like you are stronger in your leadership, especially after last month, where you might have felt a little unstable with the letting go of things. Now the other piece in here, and I was talking about this with my Soul of Business membership. We have a soul circle every month, and we had ours early this for November because I'm out of town next week. And this actually brought up a lot of feels for our members. And when I was talking about strengthening their leadership, this also includes your leadership self-care. And yeah, I talk about this a lot. And I will keep beating this drum because you are the source of power for your business. If you are not properly nourished, if you are not properly rested, if you are not healthy, just physically healthy, it is going to make your leadership so much more challenging. So remember that your business, your leadership in your business, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so you have to think about yourself as an athlete when it comes to your the strength of your leadership. If you're skipping meals and like skipping breakfast and you're so busy, you end up skipping lunch, your brain needs a certain amount of calories for critical thinking and for processing emotion. And if your physical tank is empty, your energetic tank is empty. Your thinking tank is empty. Your heart tank feels more empty. There's just not as much capacity. So, if anything of the nine energy from last month taught you, there's a big piece of like, you got to walk your talk, especially as a beauty and wellness entrepreneur and a service provider. You know, it's so easy for us as service providers to tell our clients to give them all sorts of advice, but we really do need to take our own advice because if we're not going to take our own advice, how do we expect our clients and consumers to take our advice, right? This is about your own integrity. So step into that responsibility piece of your leadership and nourish yourself. Please, please, please nourish yourself. Your body just can't keep up the pace, especially if you're a solo and you're in the treatment room. Your body is physically struggling to keep up the pace with which you are asking from it. So let's fuel ourselves in a healthy way so that we have that kind of like just that base strength in our leadership and we're not constantly bouncing off the bottom of the tank and feeling exhausted and lacking capacity. Um, Now, the last piece here about what it can be expecting in your business is, those having some wish upon a star moments. Those like this kind of ties into the first point about having kind of the fresh starts and inspired action. But this is, when you're in the shower and you have like, I have an idea that just came to me in the shower. That's the kind of wish upon a star moments that you can expect to have in November. But you have to give yourself time and space to have those moments. So back to the self-care. You, are you giving yourself enough time to rest? Are you nourishing your body? Are you nourishing your soul? Do you have spiritual practices that you practice every day to help fuel your soul in this journey that you choose to do through your business? So, it's not only just making time and space for nourishing yourself, but creating time and space for daydreaming. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. We're so quick to pick up our phones if there is a moment of quiet, right? Think next time you're in the grocery store, if you're just standing in the grocery store, how long does it take for you to get the urge to go check your phone while you're waiting in line? Use that as an opportunity to daydream or just look around and just witness what's happening in life. All right, let's talk about the low vibration, some of the challenges that you'll feel this month. You may feel some challenges with closure. It's because the one energy of fresh starts is so much fun that it's easy to, ooh, let's start another project. So if you are like a serial crafter, you may be picking up what I'm putting down here. But when it comes to your business, it's really, this energy of one, the good idea fairy shows up. And sometimes she is a pain in the butt because there's things we have to wrap up before we can start the new thing. Otherwise, we have a whole bunch of started, halfway done projects that never get completed. And think about how much time that wastes. I actually had to have a little talk chat with myself last month because with my ruling number 10, I literally can't help myself for like, oh, I have this idea and I have that idea. And I sent a voice text to one of my colleagues and we were just catching up. And I said, oh my gosh, Emery, I had to tell myself, Kirsten, quit starting shit. You have stuff to do that you need to complete. And I just had to give myself a little talking to about like quit starting stuff, get back into finishing it. And it was just a little prompt that I needed, and I had to laugh at myself. Um, so yeah, just keep in mind that this one energy loves to start stuff, but it's so easy to peter out and not finish it. So whether you have a business buddy or you want to book a call with me to just have a single coaching call to wrap up some of these ideas and, unfinished, maybe you have questions like, I'm not sure how to do this aspect of it. That's what's holding me up. Book a coaching call with me. You can have just a single 1 hour, bring as many, make a list of questions, and we could probably bang out a whole whack of answers for you and action steps so that you are unstuck and moving forward quickly and not waiting another month or another 2 months or another 4 months, 6 months, a year, and you're still stuck in the same spot. 90% of people, I'd say, struggle with accountability and implementation, and they really just need a method to finish. So, one of the things that I have in the Soul of Business membership is we do the once a month, we have a co working circle. And it's because I know how much of a struggle it is for us as entrepreneurs to like kind of get down to business and get things done. So we have a co-working circle where we meet once a month and you bring your project and we do some mindfulness exercises in between. But it's really about getting focused, getting the work done. And then, of course, they have the opportunity to ask me coaching questions during it's called a Pomodoro. So we do two Pomodoros. They're 20-minute intense focus sessions. And in between, we have a little mindfulness exercise. So it kind of pulls us out of the work and into our bodies. And then we go back into our work and we come out, we do another little mindfulness. And then we have a check-in as far as what was finished, what wasn't, what needs, what are the next steps. So that is about like helping spa owners, wellness owners, beauty business owners to complete things because you guys are really good at starting them. All right, you might also be feeling this month that stuckness and unsure. And really, the flag in the play is when you're feeling frustrated and stuck. All right, the question then is, how do I make this easier? Because I need to move forward. How do I make this easier? Somehow it's gotten too complicated. Now, that topic that I was talking about, like seeking validation as that low vibration, the energy of the one can sometimes heighten our concerns over others' opinions of us. And like I said before, it can be really subtle. It could just be like not getting the reaction that we'd hope for, which can knock our own validation off. So my mantra is for myself, especially being a ruling number 10, is that I lean into my intuition to support the opinion of myself. So if you need to write that down, pause it. I lean into my intuition to support the opinion of myself. Write it on a little sticky. I have it on a little sticky. I've had this for almost 2 years and I don't really need it anymore, but I still look at it every once in a while to remind myself of where I was and how much that kind of opinion of others was kind of a sneaky thing in there. Like I didn't really recognize it until I started studying my own ruling number 10 and realizing, oh, wow, I really do get stuck and I let it get into my head about the opinions of others. All right. The last piece here about the low vibration and how it may be showing up in your business is obsessing over those past decisions. So, you know, it happens, right? We're human. And really, it's this all it needs is a little bit of acknowledgement, just to acknowledge yourself. Because if we try to push it away, it will still keep coming back. Those negative pieces often just want acknowledgement and love. It's afraid. It's afraid you're not going to make it. It's afraid that um, everything that you've done is going to be a waste, that you've put all this time and energy and it's going to all fall apart. All of that is just the ego. It's not necessarily true. And that negative thinking really does undermine our energy and how we show up in our day. So My suggestion for you is if you are feeling kind of like starting to obsess about those past decisions, look at your business as a science experiment. That's all it is. Detach yourself from, the like, I screwed up, or I made this bad decision, or I spent too much money. Flip it around. Your business is just a big science experiment where you have experimented with things. Some of them didn't work out, and some of them really worked out well. That way we can let go of that guilt and the shame because that stuff just sticks on us like glue. It can attach to us and we don't even realize it. And again, it's one of those pieces that can be quietly undermining you, or actually not so quiet. It can be quite kind of create a lot of chaos for you in your life. So let it go. Just let it go. It's over. It's done. We can't, we can't go backwards. We can only go forwards. So let's shake it off. That was part of what the nine energy of October was asking us to do. Let it go, shake it off, so that we can move forward with a clear mind and an open heart. All right, let's talk a little bit of a couple of Power Portal days. So I give my Soul of Business membership peeps all of the Power Portal days in the membership. If you're curious about what that membership looks like, it's so we're blending beauty and wellness business with spiritual insights. So if you've got woo going on in your life and you want to blend heaven and earth in your business and how to like blend the spiritual aspects of what you believe in and how you like to live your life and blend them in with your business and figure out how to do that practically and tactically. That's what the Soul of Business membership is all about. So contact me. I will send you some more information. It's also on my website. It's a beautiful little community of wellness and beauty entrepreneurs in there that, we have the most amazing conversations about business and spirituality. It's awesome. I love it. It's just enough for me as it is for my members in there as well. So, Power Portal days, let's talk about those. So, November 1st, as of today, not only is it November 1st, but it is a new moon. So that is our very first Power Portal day in November. And what a way to kick off the month. So that particular day's energy, with a new moon, it's our monthly opportunity to, create new intentions. Being the first of the month, it's got that one energy with it as well, like fresh starts, new beginnings, kicking off. But we also have a couple of energies. So we got the day energy of a two, and it's also a six of diamonds. So the first day of the month is really it's a day for you to have awareness about your relationship with others and how you hold your boundaries because they are affecting your potential and your income. So, big awareness around your relationships and your boundaries and how they relate to your earning potential and your values. It's a big day for that. So, we're never sure about how that's going to show up in your day on the first, but I would be because I work with the energies of the day. I specifically look for those places um, in order to activate them. Now, because I know what the energy is about. I know what the day is about. And so I really love, that's part of my one leadership. I love leading the way, love leading the charge. I've always felt like I've got like a torch in my hand. And I'm like, okay, come with me, everybody. I know the way. So this November, it's an 11th month. So we've got two ones in there. The first of the month, like there's just so many ones about awareness and seeing things and starting to see things in a new way. So, big day on the 1st of November. And I would very much encourage you to start doing your little new moon ceremonies and your full moon ceremonies. They're just little opportunities for us to tap into where we're at with things, to be intentional with what we're creating and what we're letting go of. Then the next power portal, well, we've got a couple other ones, but I would say the next big one is, I would say the 9th of November. It's a one energy day. and it's also a Jack of Clubs day, and it's a one energy month. So that Jack of Clubs is about being a student and the teacher. And so that particular day, Saturday, November 9th, would be a really great day for creative new ideas for you. So I'm not sure if if you're working or not, but maybe put that on your calendar to remind yourself, creative new idea day. All right, so the rest of the Power Portal days, those will be for the Soul of Business members so that they can use them as they will. Often will be using these to plan um, when they're raising. So one of our members is going to be raising her prices. So she is using one of the Power Portal days as a day to launch her new price increase. And it's a day in which consumers and her clients will be more open to fresh new ideas. We also have somebody in there that is doing a complete rebrand, super exciting. And so she's revealing her new branding this month of November. And I have done a brand refresh, a big brand refresh. And so this November, you'll be noticing that my logo is changing, that my website will be changing, my social media graphics will be changing into a definitely more aligned imagery and branding and essence for me. I'm really excited to share it with you. And I've been so excited because I've been working with a fellow numerologist who is also a graphic designer. So it's been super fun to collaborate not only on the kind of creative aspect of it, but the energetics of kind of how that shows up in my brand. So I'm really excited to show that to you as well. All right, so let's wrap things up. So November is a one energy month in an 8 energy year, and it's about stepping forward with clarity and intention. So embrace the highs, manage the lows, and remember the high vibration of any number speeds things up. The low vibration of any number slows things down. And that was what makes numerology so easy to use, is that it's just simple. We just have to understand what the numbers 1 to 9 mean. And then all of a sudden we can start seeing the patterns of these numbers, and it reveals what the messages actually are. All right, that's it for our November business numerology forecast. If you would like to have your very own reading for your business, a business numerology reading, then please reach out and DM me or email me at kirsten@kirstenfoss.com. I also want to share that there will be I'm offering a planning workshop the third week of November, and it is for Monday, November 18th. It will be a little bit more information will be coming out in the next couple of days. But if you have listened to this podcast all the way to the end, make sure you save the date for November 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for a planning workshop for 2025. And it's not going to be like planning the whole year, because I just think that is way too much. I don't plan a full 12 months anymore. I have general ideas for the 12 months, but I do my planning more in sprints. I do my planning in 12-week increments. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you how to do as well, specifically for your beauty and wellness business, and specifically using energy and spirituality layered over on top of your strategy to really create a massive impact in your community. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, whatever platform you wish to do that on, via email or on the social media platforms. I'm here to help, and we'll see you next time.